Hi, this is Anna from Roots of Truth Initiative, and this is our new web application for doing IgG work, and it's called IDENTIphi. And you can check it out at identify.me here at the top of the screen. And I just wanted to do a really quick overview of what IDENTIphi does. And just to let everyone know that we have created this app not only to help with IgG work, which is what I do, and it can also be used for genetic genealogy, but it's also going to help fund our nonprofit, Roots of Truth, and pay for all of the DNA lab costs and database upload costs that are associated with doing cold case and unidentified human remains cases. So not only will you be getting a great app, but you'll also be helping to fund the IgG cases that we work on. So to start, this is what the dashboard looks like when you get into IDENTIphi. And you would not have any cases showing up yet, like I have here, but you would have this plus box that you can click. And you can either add a new case or you can restore from a backup. And when you add a new case, you can import some reports from GEDmatch and FTDNA. So you can do a one-to-many report and bring that in, your FTDNA match list. You'll want to bring in triangulated groups for your kit, and that'll be run from regular GEDmatch, as well as your GEDmatch matrix that will also be run from regular GEDmatch. And then you'll want to bring in your segment report for your kit as well. You will label your case, so give it a name, and then you can check off what case type it is. And then you'll just click Add a Case, and then it will show up in your sidebar over here underneath your organization's name. At the top here, we have a few icons. This one here is for searching across all of the trees in a case for a particular person. So you just start typing their name and find them. Then we have a help button here. It will give you a legend and what some of the symbols and signals mean, also a short glossary as well. Then we have the gear icon here. That's kind of your admin area where you'll see your account, click on whether you want notifications or not, connect to your family search account, which is almost ready to go. We did beta testing on that and it's worked wonderfully. So we're just waiting for the final okay from family search to get that all set to go. You can also put in a password so that you can sign in with email and password and not just with Google. And if you are a manager of an organization, then you can click here and see some of your organization information as well. So then we'll go back to one of the test cases here for IgG, and you get to your dashboard, which is kind of your case command center. And you see across the top some of the information summarized for you, how many matches you have, how many are GEDmatch and FTDNA, and your triangulation groups. And then it also will tag some of your triangulation groups as golden status, meaning they're ones that you'll want to look out first, that it's run the raw data through an algorithm, and these ones look really good, and you'll want to look at those. So this is a overview of that triangulation groups in your dashboard, but some of those have that golden status. It ranks the triangulation groups, gives you the information on the chromosome and your best centimorgans match in there and how many kits are in that group. So anything a lot of the stuff that's here on the sidebar is shown here on your dashboard so you can get a quick glance at it. And we'll go over those real quick. So we did triangulation groups. You have a possible leads box. It will only show up if you've actually clicked someone as a possible lead, and they will show up with the orange highlight on the side. Or there is also, it will autofill someone based on what you put in your case summary report, and I'll show that next. Based on what you put in that case summary report, it will autofill possible leads for you, and it does it very well. We also have a box that's called Journal. It's just showing you what's been done on the case within this app recently. Assignment status gives you an overview of a case, just how much of it's been completed, how much of it's been done, how many matches have been completed, that sort of thing. Then we have a common surnames box. Again, that one will not show up until you have common surnames across more than one tree. And if you have someone in more than one tree with the same name, then those common surnames will show in red. And I'll show you an example of how that looks. Here's several trees that have the same person in the trees. So that is a way to catch an MRCA and or see that you have some common surnames and maybe you need to do some more research on those lines. So this one's in red because it thinks this might be an MRCA and is in fact right. They were MRCAs. Then you have common locations. Another way just to do some research and see if you can find an MRCA, people across trees that are in the same locations, they will show up in here and you can check them out. When you click on them, it will take you to their tree. Then we have just an overall platform coverage, how many matches there are, how many clusters, how many have been assigned, how many have been completed. And then last, you can refresh your data for the case. And if you get more matches, say for your one-to-many report, you can re-upload it here and it will update all of the information in the app for you based on those the additional information in those reports. So that's your dashboard in a really quick glance. We're going to look at the sidebar next. Under GEDmatch on the sidebar, you have several things you could look at: triangulations, one-to-many, in common with clusters and segments. And then you have FTDNA, and you can see a match list if you uploaded one of those. So this particular case doesn't have an FTDNA match list, but it would look the same as the one-to-many GEDmatch with the same kind of information. Then we have analysis, and you have your trees that you can go and build and look at. And then when you do identify an MRCA couple, the trees that are built for them show up here in your sidebar so you can easily get to them. Also under analysis is family lines, and then a chromosome is the chromosome browser, and we'll glance at that quick in a minute. Then we have some admin kind of stuff with workflow, assignments and users. You can assign people to triangulation groups or matches. You can invite users to the case that you have. Then we have case information. So first is the case summary, and then we have the journal, which is the same thing you see here on your dashboard, but has everything that's ever been put in the journal. There's to-dos, and then the lead diagram, which is based off of the union tree that you create for your case. And then we have the investigation report and settings. In settings, it's very similar to the settings icon above. This one's just telling you on the settings on this case, the name, which you can change. And then there's a geocode for location stuff that helps with the autofilling of possible leads. So back up to the top, actually, when you start a case, after you've imported it, you'll go to your case summary. It looks like this. You're going to put in all the information. 3 important things here in the case summary. They have an asterisk next to them, and you'll want to make sure you fill them in because they are what does a lot of the autofilling on your dashboard, especially for possible leads. So one of them is the location of recovery of remains, or the crime, or the location of birth if you're doing a genetic genealogy case. So I have that filled in. Then you'll want to fill in the year of recovery, or the year that the crime was done, or the year of birth for your client if you're doing a genetic genealogy case. Then the last one is estimated age, either of your unidentified human remains or of the suspect in a crime, or if you're doing genetic genealogy, then the estimated age of the person that you're trying to find, usually if the client's parent. So we filled this in here, and this can be a range. It doesn't have to be just one number. And then as you can see, you can bring in some other information and do a summary of the case. So any background information that you have on the case, you can put in here. And once you save it, that summary information will actually show up in your investigation report. It will auto-populate for you. So this is the report you would give at the end when you've provided a lead to investigators. But this particular paragraph here will auto load from your case summary, and you can edit it as well. And these both, the case summary and the investigation report, both can be exported as a PDF and then just handed over to your detective. So once you've filled out your case summary, you'll have these other tools that you can use, and we'll just briefly go over them. With the triangulations, this is the information that is based on the data that you uploaded. And it, again, like I said, ranks your triangulation groups best to worst, tells you what chromosome they're on, numbers the groups. So this is group 0 that has 9 kits. And then it gives you your centimorgan information, tells you whether it's a golden or not, and then if someone's assigned to it and if it's in progress. And you can click on each one of these. A drawer will open up, and it will provide you with all of the kits and the kit numbers. So the names and the kit numbers of the people in that group. And this is where you could also assign your volunteers and put any notes. Then when we go on to one-to-many, very similar as far as layout, it has the list of matches from GEDmatch. You can search for a name, a kit, or an email to find one of the matches. You can also filter by whether they're in a triangulation group or not. And you can see if someone's been assigned. You can also click on each of the matches and get a little additional information, where the kit came from. Then again, the kit number, and then you can assign the match to somebody. If you assign a triangulation group to a person, then they will also be assigned to all of the matches in that triangulation group, which is why you can see someone has been assigned here to this match because they were assigned to the triangulation group. Also seen here on this page is GEDmatch, GEDcoms. So if there's a little tree for a match, it means they have a GEDcom on GEDmatch, and you can actually go see that. If it's a wiki tree that they have, it looks a little different. It's a round tree. And you can click the wiki tree and it'll take you to the actual tree. Those will have to be entered by hand manually. However, with the GEDmatch, GEDcoms, you can click on the tree. It will prompt you to log in if you haven't logged in, but it will take you to the page for the tree. And you'll click pedigree and you can see the tree. And you may not know that you can download or export the chart, and you'll want to do that. It'll download it as an SVG file, and you'll save that somewhere. Remember where you saved it. And then you'll go back and I'll show you where to import that tree. So it just starts for you, and everything that was in there is already populated. Next, we have the in common with clusters, and these are just, what it says, the clusters in GEDmatch of all the matches to your kit. And you can see that they're ranked as well from best to worst. And you can click on them, assign people, set the progress, see some more information about who's in the groups. And then you can also set progress for some that might be duplicates. I know we see that a lot in GEDmatch. You can set those as like a dead end where people can skip over them because you can see that they're actually like a duplicate on GEDmatch. Here's one, for example, here, this cluster 12. You can tell that this is the same person who just uploaded twice. So you can go to progress, set it to a dead end. And then when you look here and are glancing over, you can see, oh, this is one we can skip. Then we go to segments here on the sidebar. And this is a list of all of the matches that have and what their segments are that they match to the kit. And you can search by name, And you can also filter by chromosome. So this is everyone who has a segment on chromosome 1 that matches to the kit and gives you their start and stop positions. You can also reset that. And there's a visual as well where you can look and see on chromosome 1, this is everyone who has and where the segment is on chromosome 1. And just a great visual when you move your mouse over it, it'll tell you each color which match that is. Then we can go, there's no match list for FTDNA in this one, so that just stays blank. But then we have trees. We'll skip that one for now and do that last. We go to family lines here in the sidebar. And this is just another way of viewing the information that we've imported. And it's telling us for the chromosomes, each chromosome up to 21, how many triangulation groups there are on that chromosome. So this one's saying there's 2, and it tells you which ones. Gives you more of the centimorgan information and then kind of how far it's progressed in being done. Then we have our chromosome browser, and it will let you look at up to 3 matches and compare them to each other. So we have 3 matches showing up on here, and they're each a different color. And you can see that it says right here that there's an overlap. So we see that the orange match and the purple match are overlapping. The gray box is just showing you where that overlap is. And then we can see that, chromosome 14 and chromosome 13 don't have any overlap, but there's a little bit here on 15, and there's a bigger segment here on 20. So you can change these and pick any of the matches that are in FTDNA or in GEDmatch and compare them against each other. Then we get into more of the admin kind of things where the assignments are. So pretty self-explanatory. You can see who's been assigned to what. You can change the source, like is it a TG's triangulation group you want to look at, or is it a GEDmatch match I want to look at? What the progress is, you can filter that. And then you can filter it by people. So this is what Anna Phillips has been assigned to on this case. Then you have users. This is where you can see who's on the case. Right now it's just this Anna Phillips, but you can invite another user, and this is where you would set their role as well. There are 3 different roles, and what you can do changes based on those roles. So for example, if we look here at the case in the sidebar, Kim Smith, you see this down arrow. This is where you can export a backup of the case. And I would recommend doing that on a regular basis. And then the X next to it is where you can delete the case. And it will prompt you to do a backup first before you delete. But not every role here has that ability. Only the owner has the ability to do that. So each role, it explains what the person, what that role can do. Then we'd already talked about case summary. So we looked at that. So we talked about journal. So this is the journal that you also see on the dashboard, but it's got everything in it, not just the most recent stuff that's been done on the case in the app. To-do is pretty self-explanatory. You can put those in and then click them completed. And then you have a lead diagram, which is provided once you have finished, have done a union tree, and it will provide you a lead diagram. And you do have to kind of scroll through it to see it all. So this one's got 1 MRCA couple, and then has all of their matches that came up to that MRCA couple. And we've got the union couple, and then down here, the possible leads. And then this is the other MRCA couple with all the matches that went up to them. This can be saved to the investigation report and be included in the printout. And you can also download a PNG of it as well. And then we did briefly talk about the investigation report. It's the final report that goes out to law enforcement or your client. It can be exported. There's that diagram that we asked to have included. And then settings, which we looked at earlier. So now we'll go back to trees and just do a quick overview on trees. So you can build trees in this app. and I have several here. This button for a new tree, that's for someone who's not a match. There might be a reason that you have to build a tree. That's for a person not matching your kit. And then if you want to build a tree for a match, you would click this one. And all of the matches are listed in here. You can start typing and it'll, pop up the person you need. And then you can actually name it whatever you want for viewing in this list. And you hit create and it would go to the tree view next. If you have a GEDCOM you want to import, this button would do that for you. And then this is the GEDmatch GEDCOM. So remember those trees that had the icon in the one-to-many list, and you could download the chart, save it as an SVG file. This is where you would bring it in. You can click that, same thing, select the match that it's for, name it, and then hit create. And it will have a box that asks you to choose the SVG file. So you would choose that and then it would populate that chart for you as a tree in this application. Once you have your matches and you start to identify your MRCAs, we'll look at a tree here. So you can zoom in and out with your mouse on these trees. You can pan and just drag. There are also bars for getting around in the tree, both at the bottom and on the side. This one doesn't need one. There it is, the side one. And each person in the tree, they have a box. The little X here is to hide them, so they would disappear from the tree. We do that with this one here. See, her line has disappeared, but you can go up and restore. And so we can go up and restore, everyone, which we did. Each person also has a little circle here that you can click, and this will put them in that leads box on your dashboard. So if you are doing your research and think that someone might be a possible lead, you can click them and they'll show up in that leads box on your dashboard. And then the one with the star in it, that's for your MRCAs. So if you've identified an MRCA, which we've done here in this tree, that star, you click it, it lights up, and the person, their waypost says MRCA. That will automatically start a box, and a box will open up and it will have you select the spouse of the person, whether you want to create a new MRCA tree or add them to one existing already. And then you would hit continue and it would automatically open up that new tree. And I will show you that in a minute. You can link people across trees, and when someone is linked to another tree, they have this little icon up here showing. And if we click on them, this is their person modal. So every person, when you click on them, this box will open up and you can put in all of this information on them, vital information, gender, kit numbers, shared DNA, if it's one of your matches. And then we have this find and family search button. This is back to where I was talking about when you can connect to your family search account. Once we get the final API on that, that will be ready to go and working. Then we have a photo you can upload, any research notes, and then you can manage parents, spouses, or children. You may have noticed in the background here, it looks like we're up to the 5th generation and it stops. It actually doesn't. If you needed to add parents for somebody who was up here on this 5th generation, you would just click on manage parents and put in the information, who's the father. You could link to an existing person, or you could set a new person in there. And then another layer would open up, another generation would open up on the tree, and you would see that. Also in the person modal is where you can link a person to that same person in another tree. You can see that he's linked now to 2 other trees, and it will ask whether you want to merge data or not when you do that. You can also remove that link. You can set someone new as the root of the chart, as the beginning person. And then you can also delete a person, or delete a person and their ancestors. And just by mousing over these buttons, it does tell you what they do. It gives you a little more information. Also in the person modal is a tab at the top. We were in details, but now we're going to go to events. And birth and death will automatically populate. And then if a spouse is added, you'll see marriage show up here as well. You can also add an event. So there's a list of different events you can add, and you can even do an other and put whatever you want in there. Space for all the information you need to add, source citation information, and the URL. Can also upload a file. If you're looking at an event, say a census, several people are on that census from the family, you can add them also in this event. And you just, if they're already in the tree, you just search for them in here, and they'll have a little plus, and you'll just click their name, and they'll show up right here. And then you can also remove them if you put the wrong person. If it's a new person in the event that's not in the tree yet, you can click new person, and you can add in their name, birth year, and birth location, and then their relationship to the main person that's on that event. And then just add them to the tree in the event, and they will show up as a new box in your tree. And you can do that for several people. You can add 5, 6, 7, whatever you need to from an event in here. And then you would click save, of course. You also can save additional sources to any event, so you can have more than one source for an event. Last, there's this tab for Find Online. So we have several links here, some buttons with links that you can go to and click, and the information here will auto-populate onto that page. So you can do a people search, social media links, web links, and then we have some of the genealogy common links, family search, find a grave, genealogy bank, as well, that a pop-up will open with the pre-populated information for you to search. We do not have an ancestry one on here because most of the time we figure people will be using this for IgG, and Ancestry does not allow IgG to use their site per their terms of service. So again, we're back in a tree, a match tree, and we can see the match down here, and she is labeled with a waypost that says DNA match in a specific color. You have some tree options here, and you can change that color here at Waypost Editor. You can make it a different color, make the label say something else. You could even turn off the waypost strip. We'll see in a minute why that's helpful to have those colored strips. When you build the tree up, those strips will automatically show up for any direct ancestor. So you do not have to add those in there. And then of course, when someone's marked as an MRCA, they will get this waypost. So let's look at if we've marked an MRCA and we went through the information in the box that came up, and it started an MRCA tree for us. So let's see what that looks like. This is one of the MRCA trees here in this case. And it would actually start with the MRCA couple, and then that matches tree would show up in here as well. The other ones don't show up until later when you actually click in their trees the same person as an MRCA, and then they start to populate in here as well. But as you can see, having the different colors makes it very easy to see which line goes down to which match. So that makes that very nice. You can do the same thing in the MRCA tree that you can do in the other regular matches trees. You can click on someone, get their person modal. You can also add to this tree. So we have these matches here with 3 siblings that are children of this MRCA couple, but they actually had 10 children. So you can go into the modal of the ancestor couple and manage children and add more children and build down and do your descendancy research right here in the MRCA tree. Once you've found who your union couple is, then you would click on that one of those people, and in their modal, you would click marry across MRCA trees. And that's when you select their spouse from the other MRCA tree that you have. And you would click the person and then click marry, and it would start a union tree for you. So let's go and look at a union tree. Here is our union tree that was created automatically. And it only came in with the MRCA couples, with the union, one of the union people. And then here's the other MRCA couple with the wife for the union couple. Now I have these people were added after by me when I was doing my research, and there are actually more children. I can zoom in here and you can see that it says, this little pill says 4 hidden. And if I click it, it will show them. So it pops in all of those children. And once I did research on them and eliminated them as, and their descendants as possible leads, then I just clicked the X on their box so that I could hide them and it wouldn't be so hard to see everyone in the tree. You'll also notice that right now, you're not seeing the matches that led up to these MRCAs. That's because they're linked to the tree, but we can see them. If we go to tree options, we click on linked trees, and now all of the matches trees show up for the MRCAs as well. And then we still have our union couple, and then children that I added to the union couple as well. This is another child of theirs that led to a DNA match, which I've never had a DNA match lead to a union couple before or since. So I will hide them again, those matches, because right now I just want to see who I'm working on. So again, I added these people in, and then I saw that these 2 boys were possible leads. So I clicked them to mark them as possible leads. However, they will also show up as possible leads in the dashboard unclicked because of, and I'll show you that. I'll unclick them because of the information that was entered in the case summary and then what I entered in their person modals for birth and birth location. So if we go to dashboard right now, and we go down to possible, right here, possible leads, there they are right here. So the green means the program found them and put them in here. But if you decide to click on them, they will show up with a green highlight at the side instead of, I'm sorry, an orange highlight at the side instead of green. Now, if you want this all to show up in your lead diagram, you will want to click your leads so that it knows to go all the way down to them when it creates the diagram. Again, you can zoom in and out of here. And if you are ever showing this in a presentation and you wanted to anonymize things, you can click this privacy up here on any of the trees and it will anonymize them. You also have another find a person button here as well. You can also link people from your tree options. You can export a GEDCOM of the tree. And then another favorite of mine is split view. So you can go into split view and have 2 trees showing. So over here, I have this MRCA, I'm sorry, this union tree showing that I was working on. But over here, I have match Andrea Brown's tree. So you can compare trees side by side, which is really nice. You don't have to open 2 windows and look at, a comparison of trees. And then you can just go over here and exit split view when you need to. So we'll go back to the trees list. I believe that's most everything with the trees. Oh, one more thing. We have a find duplicates button. So that's to find people who might have been put in twice, but it's also a good check on whether you have an MRCA. If you have someone coming across 2 trees, you probably need to check them out. So we have this gentleman, Samuel, he's in Andrea's tree and he's also in Ben's tree. So you can check this for any duplicates and see if there's further research needed. If they're not a match, you can click not a match and they won't populate again. And you can also do a link person. So if you do want to link them between 2 trees, you can do that as well. So that is the brief overview of IDENTIphi. we are actually asking people if they want to be a beta tester to go ahead and go to identify.me and notice that it's not with an F, it's PHI for IDENTIphi. And you can sign up to be a beta tester, and we'll probably have that going for a couple of months. The first 30 people who actually sign up to be a beta tester will get 6 months free of IDENTIphi when we roll it out to the public and payment starts. So I hope that's a good incentive to have some people jump in and start checking it out and email with any questions or issues that they have. And you can email me at anna@rootsoftruth.org. And that seems to be everything right now. And hopefully we see you again in another video where I can dive deeper into each of these different elements in the app.